Let's start with something simple. Have you ever had one of those days where nothing feels right, but you can't quite explain why? Your body feels off, your energy is wrong, your emotions don't match the moment you're in. That's thyroid disease. Not loud, not dramatic at first, just quietly unsettling until it isn't. Today, we're talking about hypothyroidism and hyperthyroidism, not as lists to memorize, but as two very different ways the body loses balance. Think of the thyroid as your body's metronome. It doesn't do the work itself, it sets the pace. Heart rate, temperature, metabolism, mood, gut motility. When thyroid hormone is just right, you don't notice it at all. But when it's off, everything else starts drifting. And it can drift too slow or too fast. Scene 2. Hypothyroidism. When life feels heavy. Let's start with hypothyroidism. This is the body moving through thick air. Patients don't usually say,
"Doctor, I think my T4 is low."
They say things like,
"I'm exhausted all the time. I'm gaining weight even though I barely eat. I feel cold when everyone else is fine. I just don't feel like myself anymore."
Their world feels slowed down. On the exam, you see it too. Weight gain, cold intolerance, dry skin constipation, bradycardia, delayed reflexes mentally, brain fog, depression, a quiet dullness. For step 2, the most common cause is Hashimoto's thyroiditis, an autoimmune process where the immune system slowly, quietly destroys the thyroid. Labs tell the story clearly. Low T3, T4, high TSH. The pituitary is yelling because no one's answering. Treatment is simple but meaningful. Levothyroxine. Replace what's missing, and here's the key clinical insight. Hypothyroidism doesn't scream. It weighs people down. Scene 3. Hyperthyroidism. When the body won't slow down. Now let's flip the switch. Hyperthyroidism feels like being stuck in fast forward. Patients say,
"My heart is always racing. I'm losing weight even though I'm eating constantly. I feel anxious, shaky, on edge."
This isn't subtle. On exam, weight loss, heat intolerance, sweating tremor palpitations, hyperreflexia, everything is sped up. The most common cause? Graves' disease, another autoimmune condition, but this time the antibodies stimulate the TSH receptor instead of destroying it. And step 2 loves the clues. Diffuse goiter ophthalmopathy, proptosis. Pertibial myxedema labs, high T3, T4, low TSH. The pituitary has given up yelling, it's being ignored. Treatment depends on severity. Beta blockers for symptoms, methimazole or PTU to block hormone synthesis. Radioactive iodine for definitive treatment. Clinically, remember this. Hyperthyroidism doesn't feel heavy. It feels relentless. Scene 4. How Step 2 tests this. Here's how USMLE Step 2 wants you to think. Not just, what are the labs? But, what is the patient experiencing? If the stem feels slow, cold, heavy, quiet, think hypothyroid. If it feels fast, hot, anxious, overstimulated, think hyperthyroid. And always ask, is this autoimmune? Is the TSH high or low? Is the treatment replacement or suppression? The thyroid is small, easy to overlook, but when it's off, life feels off. And that's the real lesson, not just for step 2, but for medicine. Sometimes the biggest problems don't shout. They quietly alter how someone navigates the world. And your job, on the exam, and one day in real life, is to notice.